What's up, Full Ride Nation? Back for another one. Y'all that don't know me, Christopher from a D1 walk-on turn starter, here to help you guys with basketball hopes and dreams. We're back for your daily motivation. Tryouts are coming up. The new college basketball season is back in full. It's coming into full swing, not back, but it's coming. So it's time for me to start making videos again. So today's video, we're talking about congratulations to the USA men's basketball team and women's basketball team for winning gold. But this is specifically, and I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded on this, but I'm gonna be long-winded on this because I have to dive into this whole thing. And I'm specifically talking about the USA men's basketball team right now. And men's basketball, American men's basketball right now, the state of it. And I keep hearing this narrative that continues to make me sick about these NBA players and these overseas players and how the players overseas are catching up and they're closing the gap and the game is global and the Americans are being caught up to by the foreign players, and that there are so many more NBA players playing overseas than there were in '92 when the Dream Team competed for the gold. In that we can compare these new teams to the old teams. But see, here's just the contradiction with all of that. You guys keep continuing to say that these are the most skilled players that you've ever seen. These are the best players to ever play. JJ Redick went out on a limb and said they were Michael Jordan era. They were playing against plumbers and drunk drivers and painters and all of this type of mayhem, madness, and nonsense. And that these guys weren't so good, which means that these guys are so much better. Now, logically, if these guys are so much better and the international players are now just as good, but we were light years ahead of them in '92 with the '92 team, let's just go there, because the argument is, well, the '92 team wasn't playing against any legitimate players. They weren't that good. And now you're telling me that the overseas players are just as good as the NBA players. That would mean that the NBA players have not gotten any better. Because if I'm better than you, light years better than you, and in 40, 30 some odd years later, you guys are, not 40, but 30 some odd years later, you guys are darn near just as good as me. That means that you've gotten better, and that means that I haven't gotten any better. So they can skip me with this argument of the overseas players and this current NBA lineup is so much better than the old. No, because you have allowed your competition to catch you and potentially pass you, which is insane to me, which debunks that entire argument, right? So, and there's a few reasons as to why the overseas players are getting better and the NBA, current crop of NBA players and the NBA talent is getting worse. And a lot of it, I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer. A lot of it arises from, we went from a playing atmosphere to a training atmosphere. Overseas continues to have a playing atmosphere. Now, what do you mean by playing versus training atmosphere? Well, when I grew up, in the 90s, you actually had to play basketball. We went to courts and played basketball. That's how you learn the game. You actually learn it by playing. There's nothing that you can actually do in this life that doesn't require actual application in order to get better at it. And so the application is actually going and playing pickup. Don't get me wrong, we did skills, we did drills, but in a 3-hour Division I basketball practice, 45 minutes to an hour is stretching, getting loose, and doing drills. We're playing pickup in scenarios anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours, and that's every single practice. Every practice. Because if you're not playing the game, how can you actually get better? We have now succumbed to this, I need an NBA trainer, I need a trainer to work me out and show me some skills and this. And the saddest part about this training situation is majority of the parents out here in AAU aren't even qualified to even pick a trainer. So I'm not gonna say half, 95% of the people that's picking trainers are picking people who never even played at any level of basketball. They're going on stuff they've seen on YouTube that they may or may not have read in a book, but they have no actual experience. And these parents are paying these players, paying these trainers quite a bit of money because most of these trainers are just telling the parents whatever it is that they want to hear so that they can continue to collect boatloads of money off of their stupidity. Yeah, and I'm going to call it that. And so now what you have is this AAU culture that's come up. People don't compete anymore. They don't have to make teams. You pay to play. You don't need to make the team. Do you have enough money to be on the team? Great. Just give me $2,000 to $5,000. We'll go and play in this tournament. We'll play in that tournament. We'll do this. We'll do that. But there's no actual learning going on. There's no actual scrimmaging in practice. You're running useless plays, running through 8-9 different sets of plays in a practice. We didn't even run that many plays in a Division I setting. Why do you have high schoolers going through 8-9 different plays that they can't even remember when the game starts, but don't know the fundamentals of playing defense? So yeah, I'm going off on a rant right now because I'm tired of hearing this narrative of these guys are so much better and the old guys are so terrible, but they were light years past the competition overseas. And overseas is not only caught up, but they're now surpassing, where it's hundreds of overseas players in the NBA now, whereas that wasn't even a thing back then, because our players are not getting any better because they've taken away the playing basketball. Kids, I don't play outside. I got my knees. Your knees? When I grew up, you only played inside during a game or practice. Everything else was outside on the hard court with real people from the community that actually played, and they played for pride. There's no more pride anymore. Nobody cares about winning and losing. You get a participation trophy. There was no such thing as that when I played. So now people are just in it for the clicks, and they're in it for the money. So therefore, you have a situation where the people from overseas are now catching up to us. And in the next 10 years or so, there are going to be fewer Americans in the NBA than overseas players. Just mark my words for all of you. These guys are so good now because they're watering this situation down, and it's going to get to the point of you won't even have Americans in the NBA anymore. And that's all I gotta say. I went on a little bit longer than I wanted to. So with that, I'll see y'all on the next one. Full Ride Nation, y'all know the drill. Let's compete.